Hello, and welcome to part 1 of the swatching video for the goodies I got in the last haul video that I did. So these are all from Arts and Crafts Supplies Online Australia, and I am starting with the Picket Fence Studios paper glitz in Black Rainbow, and I am swatching it on both white and black paper just because shimmery and shiny stuff can look really good on black paper, and it's definitely a medium that I want to work with. But yes, the paper glitz, they're both really lovely. The Black Rainbow definitely showed up far more easily, where the pecan pie needed a little bit more mixing to get the real glitter. But yeah, no, if you're interested in glitter, I would definitely recommend these, and in probably any of the colors they have. I'm sure they would all be good. But these are the two that I grabbed, and I definitely liked them, and I can't wait to use them. But yeah, as you can see there, I needed a little bit of a mix. And I'm just using a palette knife that I have had for ages. I can't tell you where it's from. It's just an old palette knife that has just been sitting in my collection. I do have a few about, but I don't have them all in the same place, which is something that I'm working on rectifying as I go through all my art supplies and just find more in random boxes. But yeah, I needed to mix up the pecan pie filling quite a bit. Just all the glitter had sort of sunk, but it picked up very easily, and it gave me like a really good, decent chunk to swatch with. I should have swatched more with the Black Rainbow, but I didn't want to waste it, and I was quite content with the amount that I had. But I actually love it on the black paper because the paste itself blends right in, so all you really get is the shimmer for both. So I think I'll definitely use it on the black, probably in areas that are already dark on the white, because they do look a little washed out. But no, definitely recommend those. And I also really recommend the Creative Expressions Cosmic Shimmer Metallic Gliding Polish. I want to get this in other colors, but I'm finding it really hard to find it here. But it comes with its own dopper or sponge, but it doesn't work too well. It really should be more rounded instead of the harsh cylinder. It should be more of a dome. At least I think that would be better, because it doesn't like to pick up and move as smoothly. But this one is absolutely stunning, and it provides a really nice shimmer, and I can see myself using it a lot. So I definitely recommend this one. This one looks great on both. Like, I have no qualms about using the Cosmic Shimmer Metallic Gliding Polish, gilding, not gliding, on both, and I reckon that they will be really cool to use. It also has a mousse-like consistency, which will lead to very cool different textures when applied more thickly. But yes, I'm hoping to find more of these, or for Arts and Crafts Supplies Online Australia to restock. Fingers crossed, because I would love to get my hands on some more colors. They do still have some in stock, but they're not the colors that I want. I'm being very specific about it. But yes, this last one here is the Sizzix Effect Crystal Glaze. Now, I had a fair old challenge getting the glitter to come off the bottom with this one. Because all I could really access was the sort of just white taste. But I had a lot of difficulty and I couldn't use it with this palette knife. I ended up using it with a little plastic spatula. I can't remember what it was from, but it was floating around. But it took a fair decent amount. And so I was really, really annoyed when I got this. At first, I was like, I can't get the glitter off the bottom. This is a waste of my money. And I was very cross and was ready to write this product off and to crap all over it. But as you'll see in a minute with the close-ups, once I got that palette knife out, a whole lot of the glitter just scooped up and I was able to really, really show how glittery it all is. But those are the up close of the Paper Glitz studios there. These are a little bit, but here is the big show of the crystal glaze. Once you get the glitter off the bottom, it is stunning. You can see the metallic gilding polish is a lot more subtle. It's just a shimmer. It's just like a metallic shine. Where the others are glitter. Yes, that was the funny little spatula I used to actually manage to get the stuff off the bottom. So you really need to work hard with that one. And finally, I am swatching everything in the Montmartre watercolor set. Now, I briefly mentioned in the whole video, I was ultimately disappointed with this set. Just the paints have no pigment. The pencils are useless, really. But I had a lot of difficulty getting the water brush out. It's a very tight fit. I ended up tying a bow around it so I could just pull on the bow to get it out. You saw me struggle there. I didn't know how to unscrew it, mainly because my brain couldn't think lefty loosey, righty tighty. You know how it is. But so the paint goes down fairly decently from the palettes. So at first I thought, okay, these will be pretty good. They come up quite nicely, but they are hard to mix. I found them really hard to mix to get their own colors, which I don't really show here. I do have 2 art pieces I've done with them in photographs towards the end. But yeah, no, it's really hard to mix these colors. They don't like to mix. It really kind of washes them out and they all go muddy. Which is a shame because they do look quite nice when they're initially being swatched out. So it's definitely a miss from me. I wouldn't buy this again. I love the box and I'm definitely going to reuse that. I will take the bits and pieces out and probably put some foam inserts in and put some other things in that I like. And I mean, the sharpener, it's a good quality sharpener. I found that it sharpened everything really well. It's a good blade, but it's a metal sharpener. I think that if you stuffed that up, you would be in a world of hurt. And Montmartre does create some good products, so I don't think they would screw up a sharpener. The one thing I don't think I tested was the eraser. It completely escaped my knowledge to even think to test it. I'm sorry, I didn't test everything in this. I have no idea whether the eraser is good quality or not. Here's hoping it is. I'm sorry about that. The aqua brush, it's a good brush. I quite like using it and I will continue to use it. So yes, maybe I'm complaining a little bit too much. Overall, the set is okay. I reckon you could gift this to a young person who was sort of an artist, maybe like a preteen, that is interested in art. This might be a cool set for them to have. I wouldn't go much younger because I think it would be a little bit difficult to use some of these things. I find they are pans, not cakes. There's a little bit of a difference. They might be a little bit trickier for a young child to use, but I think anyone older is going to be a little bit disappointed, or they'll struggle with it, and it might lead them to feeling worse about their ability to create art because the materials they're using aren't great, but they might think down on themselves because, like I said, it comes in a deceptively nice case, which makes you think that the quality of products inside are going to be significantly better. Now, I do find, while the orange holds the pigment really well, but in general, the cool tones tend to hold a better pigment than the warm tones. The red is really hard to get a nice red. The pink is very washed out, but, I don't mind that. I do think that potentially there is a place for these. I'm going to try and maybe do like background base washes with this when I get some more art supplies. So I have like a color hue to begin with, see if I can paint on top of them with other paints to get like fluidity. I'm very interested in the sort of impressionistic and a little bit abstract styles of art. So realism isn't something that I'm too interested in. So lots of strange colors in places kind of interest me. I really like my art to look like art. That sounds really strange, but in that it's like if those art pieces that you see that look so close to a photo, it's hard to tell the difference. I think those are so technically impressive, and I am so impressed by the artist, and honestly a little jealous of the skill. And I think that they're really cool. But I don't want to create stuff like that because I don't find that fun. And I make art for fun, or I want to. I used to make art for fun, and I stopped for a long time, and I'm trying to get back into it. I'm so inspired. So yeah, I'm going to work with this palette a bit more, see what else I can come up with. Like I said, the cool colors come up quite nice. It's the warm tones that are a bit wishy-washy, and the browns I don't think are particularly great either, though I am happy to have both of them. I suppose, is that more of like a yellow ochre? I don't know. I'm always so impressed with these artists that just like can tell what the color is just by looking at it. Be like, oh, that's an ultramarine blue. Oh, that's a viridian. And I'm like, I don't know. But I suppose I'm not familiar enough with paints and colors to know that. I just sort of know, that's a yellow brown. And that's a brown with like a bit of a red underhue. So is that like, I don't know, burnt umber? Burnt sienna? I don't know. I am here for a good time, not a professional time. Gosh, I sound so silly. I'm also swatching on paper. I'm not sure what its makeup is. It is a sketchbook that I've had for a really long time, and it is one of my more decent sketchbooks. It holds a decent amount of wet materials, not enough that I'd want to do like a full heavy watercolor drawing on it. But I do think that potentially it has a small, like it might be a 30% cotton, because it does seem to hold wet media well. I've done a bit of like ink stuff in it, and it holds that decently well without much warping. But yeah, I've had it a really long time. It is one of my favorite books, and I am getting towards the end of it, which is unfortunate, because I was looking through all my old notebooks that I picked up. I think I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Buying art supplies and using them are two separate hobbies. But I have a lot of like sketchbooks and blank notebooks, and I haven't used them, and I'm sort of realizing how many of them are not really designed for much at all. Some are so thin they barely even hold graphite without showing through onto the back page. You know how it is. But this one is one of the better ones. But yes, I am getting close to the end. So when this one finishes up, I think it will be time to treat myself to maybe a little bit more of a pricey sketchbook that can hold more wet media, so I can come up with all the things that I want to come up with and not restrict myself to just sketching or simple line work. But yes, so I was switching out all the pencils here, including the water-soluble graphite. I hadn't really worked with water-soluble graphite before, at least not to my knowledge. I just wanted to see what it was like. But I found the pencils were horrific to re-wet. The pink was incredibly difficult to get anything going. The red was a bit better, but it still left a lot of streaky line work, and I had to work really hard to get any sort of movement. The yellow was so pale, basically washed out. Again, I found the cool colors significantly easier to work with. I don't know if that's something in like general, if that's like cool pigments, cool tone pigments are easier to re-wet, or wet at all. But yeah, I off the bat was not impressed by the pencils. I don't even know how well you could use them as like a sketch, because there would still be residue left behind by the impressions the lines leave on the paper. So that is a little bit shitty. But I mean, this set overall was $26. That was its on sale price. I think it's usually $35. I would not pay $35 for it. I'm not even happy I paid $26 for it. And as you can see, the water-soluble graphite doesn't really do a whole much. Like, there's a bit of the gray washing around. But yes, these are the two paintings I did with them. It was really hard to get them to work. I struggled so much with the sunset one there. The forest one was a little bit easier because of its focus on cool colors. But yeah, it was really difficult to get anything going there. But yeah, I think that's all for this video. I don't recommend the Montmartre set, but everything else, 10 out of 10 would get again. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed. And if I'm lucky, I will see you in the next one. Ta-ta!